Thank you so much for joining us for this worldwide broadcast today. We are going to be joined by Mr. Bundy. Cliven Bundy will be popping in to give us his take in the next hour, dealing with the statements by Ron Paul and others. Ron Paul warns feds could launch Waco-style assault against Bundy. That story's top link on drudgereport.com, along with Harry Reid's statement to local TV news, we're going to play in a moment, saying that it's not over and having a very smug, sickening, gangster Cheshire cat smile on his disgusting criminal face. By the way, Dinesh D'Souza has been charged for giving $20,000 allegedly to a Senate friend who was running for the Senate. And Reid got $30,000 to his daughter on record and isn't in trouble. And, you know, that's another example about where the Democrats are allowed to commit every crime you can imagine in campaign finance, and anyone else, Libertarian, Independent, Green Party, Conservative, Republican, will be thrown under the jail if you have a crooked toenail. So we've got Ron Paul warns feds could launch Waco-style assault against Bundy. Another big article that just went up on Infowars.com. We'll be breaking down after we get into Ukraine. Feds desperate to hide Harry Reid's link to Bundy land grab. And Paul's also writing an article. This is a video where he breaks it down and shows that they've even removed the Google cache now from the BLM website, saying we've got to get his land for the solar farm. Because, see, you can't have Glenn Beck saying we're making that up. And you can't have MSNBC and Media Matters and George Soros saying that if you've got the BLM saying we've been told get him off the land for the solar farm. And our boss is Harry Reid's former chief advisor. No, you got to hope nobody goes and looks that up so you can have Scarborough and you on MSNBC, and you can have Media Matters doing 5-6 articles a day directly for the White House. You can have Glenn Beck running around saying there's no connection, and the Chinese dropped their bid a year ago for now because they couldn't get the Bundy land. It says it in the stinking document. They need it to run the power lines over. And it's, quote, mitigation area. What they do is they grab this land in the desert, first saying it's environmental, and they go, oh, it's okay, because this land will be off use for now. And that's Bundy's property. And the stinking tortoises. The red herring tortoises. I actually like tortoises, but you know what I mean. The stinking red herring of the tortoises. And I don't, look, I've pledged to not attack Glenn Beck. And I haven't attacked him when he's getting sued, and I think he does a lot of good. But I've been sent the clips day after day attacking us, and fine, I turn the other cheek. I understand you're high up in the Mormon hierarchy, and Harry Reid's in there, and I understand that a lot of Mormons are mad at Harry Reid, and they should be. Clearly, electronic voting machines are keeping him in office. Most independent polls show him incredibly unpopular, close to 70% in Nevada. He's a kingpin, and a lot of, heat's going on out there. And a lot of people, if they can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. And I don't want to make this show about other talk show hosts. I want to say Sean Hannity's done a good job covering the land rights issue with the Bundy Ranch and has covered it pretty fairly. A lot of other big talk show hosts have. And I'm going to be talking about why this is so important on April 15th here in just a moment and tie it into Obamacare. But I'm really sick and tired of getting the government documents where they have 2.6 billion bullets and then seeing national media come out and say they're not buying the bullets. MSNBC, Media Matters, White House writes their talking points weekly on record. They admit it. And then to have Beck come out and say, I'm making up the bullets. He did that last year. I'm making up drones. I'm making up world government. And he'd say that 5 years ago. I'm making up FEMA camps, even though it's the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program. Declassified, the Emergency Centers Establishment Act, Rex 84, Cable Splicer, Garden Plot. I mean, I'm listing stuff where you can type it in and get Miami Herald, Associated Press. I mean, they just count on you being ignorant. And you know how the media will always try to point out that, oh, we're lying. They'll go, look, here's an article where they bought 20 million rounds, or here's an article where they bought 100 million rounds. See, it's not 2.6 billion, not adding all the numbers up. We should have a master article done that just shows all of them line item. Last time I counted up, it was 2.6 billion that they've purchased. Enough to fight 40 years of war. It was 27. 40 years of war in Iraq at its height. With paper targets, training to take on the militia, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, Army Times, Stars and Stripes, Forbes, AP, Reuters, New York Times, all of them admitting training to take on the Tea Party. That's the new main enemy. We broke that. We exposed that 6 years ago first, and we got all the ridicule for it. And I'll tell you what's sick is I get to see all the jealous talk show hosts pile on and say, oh, you shouldn't watch the coverage of Alex Jones and Infowars.com on the Bundy thing. They're not credible. When these are literally many of these talk show hosts that I've promoted and tried to help. These people, most of them, are not involved in the liberty movement for liberty. They're involved to try to be big shots, and they're primitively competitive with anyone they see as competition. I'm not your competition, dumbass. All of you out there. This thing is real. I want the cancer viruses out of the vaccines. I want our national sovereignty back. I want the fraud to stop. I want the federal government to not be occupied by offshore banks. I want Obamacare repealed. I want to defend the Second Amendment. Do you understand? I want to defeat the New World Order. I want liberty and freedom. I want justice. I could care less about the baubles and trappings of fame and success. I'm not in competition with any of you. I wish there were people better at this than me. I wish there were people that had courage. I wish there were people that worked hard and did research. I wish that was going on, because I don't like being the very tip of the spear, always walking point for 19 years, over and over again. I want to believe in humanity. I want to believe in other talk show hosts. I want to believe the only national talk show host, other than George Norrie, who has had me on their show and promoted what we're doing, and who isn't into some egomaniac war with me, is Michael Savage. Because Michael Savage knows, and he's certainly not perfect, neither am I, that if the globalists win, they're going to put us in forced labor camps. You understand that's the plan of the progressive, communist, dirtbag scum? If we don't get together and come together, ladies and gentlemen, it's over. And I'll tell you something else. All these other talk show hosts, there's a bunch of them attacking me, are jealous that DrudgeReport.com links to us every day. Well, if you sent your reporters there and shot high-def video of the standoff that looks like something out of V for Vendetta, and the people climbing over the fence as the feds threaten to shoot them, and then the feds backing off with their guns trained on them, if you had that high-def video, you'd be on Drudge. In fact, I wish you would have done it. I wouldn't have to send my reporters out there and risk their lives. Don't you get it? I'm looking for people to promote. I'm looking for people to fight with. I'm in a war. My goal is to defeat the New World Order, George Soros, the globalists, the private Federal Reserve. My goal is to get Rand Paul or Ted Cruz into the White House. My goal is to promote Ron Paul. My goal is to defeat tyranny. My goal is to have humanity survive and not blow the planet up. My goal is to stop World War III with the Russians. We're going to cover in the next segment. And then I'm going to get into the latest developments out west at the Bundy Ranch. But I see the hatred that these talk show hosts have for me, and the disinfo and all of it. And it just makes me know that either they're compromised and they've been blackmailed, or they're crazy. Or they're crazy. Because I'm telling you, folks, this is the time to not infight. This is the time to not snipe at each other. And I can't believe that there's been a debate on whether Bundy is right or not, even on conservative radio and libertarian radio. I'm going to talk about that coming up. If you knew the facts, and if people had any basic grounding, they would know that this is absolute essence of liberty that we're seeing out there. Regardless, people walking up against feds who've been tasering and beating and police dogging women and cancer victims and folks for no reason. People responded and said, you want to fight, you're going to get one, and had their guns at their sides and marched at men, pointing guns at them, saying, we're going to shoot you. That was like Tiananmen Square, but the Chinese government blinked. That you saw is what made America great. That you saw was 300, was Come and Take It, was the Alamo. That's what we're dealing with here, and that's what scares the globalists. Because if they start a civil war and we start fighting back and aren't cowards, we will win very quickly. And Harry Reid says it's not over yet because he knows that if they can't intimidate us and if they let one ant stand up, they might all stand up.
Is there anything you would like to say about what's going on down south with Clive Bundy and the BLM?
Well, it's not over. We can't have an American people that violate the law and just walk away from it. So it's not over.
Yeah, I want to say something to all the neocon talk show hosts posing as libertarians out there. I don't want a job with the New World Order managing the population. I want a job working for God, empowering and unleashing humanity.